Making a speed mower. Be rolling.
Okay.
Always be rolling. Alright, so we've gotten the bracket, which the pumps are bolted to, out of the Suburban, and I'm going to attempt here to change the pumps in the reservoirs. This one's got 2 returns on it with a pressure side built into it. The other one I have doesn't. It's for a system without hydro boost, so it's only got the one return line. I'm not sure. I think I could probably Y them maybe and run them into the one line, but I wasn't looking to do that. I was looking to just swap the pumps in the reservoirs. Something I haven't done before. Have no idea how these were held in there, so I only see the 2 bolts visible and the one for the pressure side nut to take off. I know I've taken them apart before. I've had to replace sensor in my Tahoe that kicks up the idle or whatever. But other than that, I haven't had them apart, besides just from changing the sensor in the back. So just look at it, figure out, unbolt all this stuff, and then go from there. Seems like a simple process. Wasn't bad. Just looking at it, trying to figure out what's the best course of action. See if put them bolts in and see if I can tap this pump out of there. And it kind of works. I use that housing there on the table to set that lip on, get it to pop out of there. So I had to go dig up my other pump. It was $100 to replace this pump, or a little more to get a new one to put in without the reservoir, a little more with the reservoir. And I don't know, the way things are when you buy new parts these days. I had an older one sitting on the shelf that didn't have as many miles on it. I think about 143,000 on the vehicle that this other pump comes off of. So it's been sitting underneath my workbench for I don't know, 6 years now, I guess. Just, waiting for something like this. Either put it back on 99 or older, or I wasn't sure if this pump would be the same or not until I got the pulley off. And really, this is the biggest pain of this whole deal, I think, is just pulling the pulleys and putting them back on, which it's not rocket science. Pretty easy when you have the puller tool there to use. So now I got that off, and looking at the pump, I see that it's pretty much the same thing, so we'll continue on with taking it apart. I know I could have been a little more sterile about the environment here that I'm pulling all this apart on, but not a big deal. And see, this one here has one of them sensors on the back that what it does is it kicks up the idle just a little bit. I think if you're sitting still and you go to turn the wheels, just make sure it's got adequate RPM turning the pump, so that way you don't burn it up or something like that. How it seems to work to me. So pulse out, everything below this piece here is the same as on the other pump, so there was no issues putting it back together. Just had to get that out of there. This was I thought that was going to be more of a pain, but it's not. You just had to break this nut loose on this line remote, or whatever the purpose of that is. Maybe it's to fit the sensor in and have the line go into it, but took me a minute to realize what was going on. The nuts on the bolts in the pump on the back they're only like half thick, so if you had a socket to waste and grind it flat to get the little lip off there, it'd make it a lot easier to get those off there. Or if you have a different set of sockets that's already like that. So it fought me quite a bit. Sockets kept popping off there, trying to get them loose. But in the end, persistence prevailed. So we got this pump off. Now here's a little tidbit. The pump that quit working, there's zero play in the shaft on it at all for the pulley to go into, and this one it's slides in and out probably almost a good 16th plus a little, not quite an eighth. So these tins, they bend real easy, and yeah, I kind of tweaked that one a little bit with me putting it back together, because it's a really tight fit. You really got to have it pretty close to lined up when you're putting it back together. Otherwise, you're going to have a heck of a time where you're just going to mar up the tin, the reservoir tin, which you don't want to do. So on the back side of the pump here where the 3 bolts go, there's rubber washers per se. They're not O-rings. They're built a little differently, but that's their purpose is to obviously prevent the power steering fluid from leaking out the reservoir. So takes a little finessing. It's not bad. Right there for that big one for the pressure side to go into wasn't really, the O-ring had popped out a little bit, so I had to loosen it back up and work that into the spot it should be. So the bracket on the back that goes to the block, I didn't bother putting that back on to the assembly. I didn't feel it needed to. And yeah, I put the bracket in holding the cables. There's a couple battery cables that run along right